After being beaten to death by my father while he was drunk, I was reincarnated as my grandmother's best friend, a obstetrician-gynecologist. Grandma asked urgently, Xiaofang, is the child healthy? Me. He's an idiot. I suggest having him aborted. After my breath left my body, my soul sat there indifferently amidst shards of glass, watching the heavily made-up woman scream and run away. Looking at Song Chiyun, my biological father and also the man who killed me. I rubbed my face with blood-red eyes. Then he took a large suitcase from the room and began to pack up my body. I slowly drifted closer, staring intently into his eyes. I wanted to see a hint of regret, a hint of sorrow in his eyes. Unfortunately, no. He moved with such efficiency that it seemed like he was simply clearing away trash. There was a bang at the door. The grandmother, who had rushed over in a hurry, fell to the ground. She stared at my limp body on the ground, her mouth open. But no sound came out of her. Pepe. I wanted to help her, but my fingers passed right through her body. Oh. I'm already dead. There's still a month left until the college entrance exams. And I was beaten to death by my own father. I couldn't go to college as I promised my grandmother, nor did I take my mother with me to escape from this home. I'm really not willing to give up. Suddenly, everything became pitch black before my eyes. An ethereal voice echoed in my ears. Here's your chance. Do you want to live your life over again? Think. It depends on what you do. When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in an office, with a woman whose features seemed familiar sitting across from me. Xiaofang, is there something wrong with the child? A gentle voice reached my ears. I was completely confused until I saw the pregnant woman's name written on the table. Qiu Yun. Isn't this my grandmother's name? And on the corner of my desk, there's a name tag. On duty Dr. Li Fong, if I remember correctly. When I was a child and playing at my grandmother's house, she told me that her best friend in her youth was named Li Fong. The two of them grew up together, and Li Fong later became a doctor. I slowly realized that I seemed to have been reborn, returning 40 years in the past to become my grandmother's best friend. In other words, the child I'm examining right now. Let me check the time. Isn't he just that worthless father of mine? Heh. It's not that I won't repay, but the time hasn't yet come. Seeing that I hadn't said anything for a long time, Qiu Yin became anxious and said, Xiaofang, if there's any problem, just tell me directly. I can accept it. Is the child not healthy? I put away the stethoscope without hesitation. He's an idiot. I suggest getting rid of him. Qiu Yun was stunned. Can't you even tell if someone's stupid or not? Me. It's a new technology that uses heart rate to determine brain development. You know, I've always had your best interests at heart. When have I ever lied to you? Qiu Yun became a little panicked, with tears in her eyes. This is my first child. If you keep this child, you'll suffer for the rest of your life, because it's even more tormenting than cerebral palsy. Song Chiyun is a complete scumbag. He isn't fit to be a father, let alone a human being at all. Since I can remember, there hasn't been a single day of peace in my home. He's so happy that he wants to hit people. When unhappy, one should hit others even more. Either they hit me, or they hit my mom. A month ago, the house in my hometown collapsed. Grandma had no choice but to move in with us. She slept in the storage room, making sure not to make any noise every day. She also took on all the household chores on her own. Even so, Song Qian disliked having one more mouth to feed. He would often punch and kick his grandmother. When Mom tried to stop him, he started hitting her too. That night, after school, I saw my grandmother at the intersection. She was struggling to carry her luggage, and she found a half-eaten steamed bun in the trash can in front of the residential building. Just as he was about to put it in his mouth, he saw me. The next moment, he turned his face away. Grandma. I rushed over and grabbed Grandma's hand. What's wrong? Grandma's cloudy eyes welled with tears. Pepe. After Grandma leaves, you must take care of yourself and go to college. You absolutely have to go to college. I held back my tears and told my grandmother to stay where she was. As soon as I reached the doorstep, I saw my mother running out, crying, with a pained expression on her face. I went up the stairs and saw Song Qian lying in bed with a woman who was heavily made up. I just stared at him, filled with intense hatred, and said what I'd wanted to say for ages. Animal. Song Qian was stunned. The woman next to him laughed and kicked him with her foot. Did you hear that? Your daughter called you an animal. The woman's exaggerated words completely angered him, and also sent me on a path to certain death. Now that I get to live again, I'd rather put an end to all this from the very beginning, even if it means I'll disappear as well. I refuse to watch my grandmother and mother suffer for the rest of their lives. I don't care whether I'm selfish or not. Nor do I care about any paradoxes. At this moment, there's only one thought in my mind. I want him dead. So, I went ahead and washed Xiaoyun's brain thoroughly. She trusts me very much and promised to go back and discuss things properly with her husband. Speaking of this, I just remembered that my grandfather died before I was born. I've never even seen him. Out of curiosity, I offered to take Xiaoyun home. Our two families live in the same direction. Just as I reached Xiaoyun's house, I saw a handsome man in a white shirt, pushing a bicycle, walking in my direction. Neighbors passing by joked, "Song Qiao, did you buy fish again to nourish your wife's health?" The man smiled shyly. "She loves to eat. This is my grandfather. Seems like a person with a very good temper, compared to my dad, who's a complete scumbag. My grandfather is the complete opposite of him. Did my dad develop that way due to a genetic mutation?" When Song Qiao saw me, he rushed over a few steps and asked nervously, "How's the child?" I didn't know what to say for a moment. Xiaoyun's eyes were a little red. "Let's talk about it when we get home." After I dropped them off at their homes, I wandered around the neighborhood. When I reached the back door of Xiaoyun's house, I heard a series of crackling noises. I peeked inside through the crack in the door. Song Qiao wasn't the gentle person I had seen earlier. Xiaoyun ran into the yard, but he violently grabbed her hair and pulled her inside. "You want to hit the child? Who the hell gave you the nerve? Even if you give birth to a deformed baby today, you must give birth to it first." That fierce appearance gradually began to match the image of my father as I remembered him. I was too scared to move from my spot. When I was young and naive, I would often say that Grandpa passed away so early, never being there to comfort Grandma, causing her so much pain. Back then, Grandma would just smile and say that she hadn't suffered anymore. So that's what it meant. Did she start living in hell from that moment on? Hearing Xiaoyun sobbing softly, my anger rushed to my head. I've been dead once already. What am I afraid of? They're the ones who should be afraid. Because I'll go crazy. I kicked the door open, grabbed a broom from the corner, and rushed in. "Why the hell didn't you die sooner?" I swung my arm hard on his back, using all my strength. Song Qiao let go in pain, twisting his body and screaming in agony. I took the opportunity to pull Xiaoyun behind me. Song Qiao came back to his senses and cursed at me. "Damn it, Li Fong. You wretched bitch. You're the one who instigated that bitch to have an abortion, aren't you? You want to destroy my offspring. Never. Pfft. Stop using that nonsense. If you've got the guts, go ahead and insult my grandfather." Song Qiao was stunned, although I couldn't figure it out. I still started cursing loudly. "I want to scold your entire family. Your grandfather is nothing but an animal. Your father wasn't any better either. Otherwise, how could you have such a heartless and vicious nature?" I'm in a good mood. "Oh, how beautiful. Song Qiao, are you sick?" Genetics. He stopped arguing with me and reached out to pull Xiaoyun away. I immediately grabbed a fork from the corner and thrust it into the haystack, warning him, "This time it's the grass. Next time it'll be you." I brought Xiaoyun back home. She seemed completely terrified. She sat on the edge of the bed, holding her stomach and staring blankly for a long time. Liar. When I was pregnant, he promised never to hit me again. Domestic violence is either never happened at all, or it happens countless times. Trusting men is no better than believing that a pig can climb a tree. I really didn't know what else to say. When Xiaoyun went to rest, I was so angry that I ran outside and threw stones at Song Qiao's windows. The next day, Song Qiao really came to settle the accounts, bringing along his neighbors as well. Everyone, look at her. It's this Li Fang. Since she couldn't get married herself, she's come to cause trouble for our family. Now, she's even separated us as a couple. Okay. So you're trying to morally blackmail me, aren't you? Unfortunately, I have no morals. I looked around for a weapon to use. To my utter surprise, Xiaoyun stepped forward, holding a knife in her hand, with tears in her eyes. She said, "If it weren't for Xiaofang, I might have been killed by that beast yesterday. Song Qiao, please don't come to me anymore. Let's get divorced." Everyone was stunned. I never expected that Xiaoyun could think so clearly in just one night. So I simply stepped aside and grabbed some sunflower seeds. Song Qiao was momentarily stunned, then immediately showed a look of regret. With a soft voice, he said, "Honey, I drank a little too much yesterday. I really realize my mistake. I won't do it again." He has a good-looking face, but his obsequious behavior makes him seem a bit pitiable. Someone immediately chimed in beside them. "Yeah, we've all heard about Song Qiao's wife. Yesterday, Song Qiao drank a little too much and hit you. But after all, men are full of passion and energy at times like that. It's understandable that he lost his temper for a moment. How can divorce be so easy? Who would want you after you get divorced? Isn't a woman's whole life dependent on men? Small arguments are normal. Song Qiao hit you out of concern for you. Look, he never hits anyone else." Originally, Xiaoyun was very determined, but now, amidst all the chatter around her, her hand holding the knife trembled slightly, and her eyes showed hesitation. "Damn it. I can't take it anymore." I rushed over and slapped the person who was talking. "I care about you too much. That's why I hit you. You see, I never hit anyone else." He has a mouth, but he never says anything sensible. The only thing that can't live without men are the stinky fleas on his body. Are you the same? After being stunned for a moment, they rolled up their sleeves and started cursing. Ready to catch me, I rushed straight into the room, grabbed a drink, and took a gulp. Look, I just drank some alcohol. I'm young and full of energy. It's understandable if I do something impulsive in my excitement. Right. After all, that's what you yourself said. For a while, no one dared to come up anymore. I glanced at this group of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong with disgust. It was obvious to me that they dared to bully Xiaoyun, but not me, because I'm one of the few doctors at the county hospital. In those days, it wasn't easy to get medical treatment. People had to rely on me to use my connections to help them with whatever problems they faced. Seeing me fly into a rage, they changed their tune and began blaming Song Qiao instead. Seeing that the situation wasn't good, Song Qiao left with the words "we'll see" and rushed away. Getting Song Qiao to agree to a divorce isn't easy, but I was lucky to run into Song Qiao's creditors at the hospital. The ferocious-looking man with 2 scars on his face bowed to me with tears in his eyes. "Dr. Li, thank you for saving my wife. If you ever need my help in the future, just ask." I chuckled twice. Well, there actually is something. The next day, I heard that Song Qiao went out to drink at night and got stopped by someone. Not only did she agree to the divorce, but she also packed her things and fled back to the village overnight to avoid her debts. I'm even happier than Xiaoyun. After getting divorced, she had the baby aborted. Xiaoyun has great skills. The pastries she makes are more exquisite than those sold in stores. She can definitely realize her dream of becoming a pastry chef. Without that worthless husband and son, she would never make the same mistakes again in her life. She would be happy, but I didn't expect that Xiaoyun went for another checkup behind my back. After learning that there were no obvious problems, she decided to give birth to the baby. She said, "Xiaofang." I could feel his heartbeat. Last night, I had a dream where I suddenly heard his name. Qiyun. I don't seek great wealth or fame. I just hope for smoothness and good fortune in life. Xiao Yin gently stroked her belly. Take my surname. Xiao Qiyun. I suddenly looked up. It's changed. The name has changed. Does that mean that the fate of this worthless father of mine has completely changed as well? Xiao Yin had high hopes for the baby in her womb. She also said that she would be the baby's godmother once it was born. My feelings are a bit complicated, but I don't know how to put them into words. A few months later, the child was born a boy. Looking at that chubby face, all I could think of was Song Chiyun, reeking of alcohol, punching and kicking my mom, and the scene where he picked up the bottle and threw it at me. Xiao Yun was still asleep. I glanced at her, feeling a strong inner struggle. Finally, my hand covered the baby's mouth. If we tighten it a little more, there's nothing to worry about anymore. But just then, a warm little hand grabbed my finger. I pulled away as if shocked. The baby was looking at me, smiling with its toothless mouth. Through his eyes, I saw my own despicable nature at that moment. To have the desire to kill a newborn child. What's the difference between this and what Song Qian did in his past life? After a while, I grabbed his face and pulled at the corners of his mouth. In my past life, you were my father. In this life, I'll be your godmother. It's fair. In your past life, you couldn't be a proper father. So in this life, I'll show you how to be a decent person. If you still grow crooked, then just wait for death. Xiao Yin wasn't in good health after giving birth. I was the one who fed Xiao Qian formula and changed his diapers. Little by little, just me and Xiao Yin managed to bring him up to the age where he could go to school. Even so, there are still those who like to gossip. On my way home from work, I wanted to buy some fruit, but before I even reached the store, I heard them gossiping. 2 women raising a child. I've never even heard of that. How can a family function without a man, when those guys like Arab beat up their family members? There was no one to stand up for them at all. That Xiaofang is almost 30 already. She still isn't married, and she doesn't seem to care what others think. I carried the latest handbag from the county, smoothed my freshly permed hair, and said with a smile, "Joke? Who's joking with me? I work in a hospital, so I look stylish and fashionable." Xiao Yin runs her own pastry shop and is her own boss. We spend all our monthly income on ourselves. After taking care of the children, compared to me, these 2 women in front of me seem rather sloppy. But here, most people are just like them. Every day, I focus on my husband and children. In my free time, I stay around my home, finding some meaning to my mundane days by gossiping about others. I sighed sincerely. You'd better worry about yourselves. It's not easy to get some money from your husbands every month to cover living expenses. Oh, by the way, these lychees have just come onto the market. They're not cheap either. Please give me 2 pounds. The woman who had intended to scold me immediately stopped and forced a smile as she started picking lychees for me. When I got home, I saw that Xiao Qian wasn't there. I remembered what they said about him being bullied by other children. I put down the fruit and went to the place where the children liked to play the most. Sure enough, Xiao Qian, who was quite small, was being beaten to the ground by several children who were 7 or 8 years old. He tried to resist, but he was held down so tightly he couldn't move. As soon as he saw me from afar, he started crying loudly. I picked up a branch and hit Wang Eru on the buttocks with it. Who gave you the right to bully others? Wang Eru covered his buttocks angrily and said, "If you dare hit me, I'll have my dad teach you a lesson." "Oh, I'll wait." After the children left, Xiao Qian silently wiped away his tears. When he saw that I was looking at him, he turned away and said, "I'm not crying. I'm speechless. I saw it all." Eru and the others said that men shouldn't cry. Only weaklings cry. Nonsense. Don't men have tear ducts? Why can't they cry? If you want to cry, do it now. After crying, go home. After saying that, I ignored him and walked away. Xiao Qian sat on the ground for a while, then got up silently and followed behind me. During dinner, he kept looking outside. afraid that Wang Era might really bring his father to settle accounts with him. I asked, "If they're coming, then let them come. Why be afraid of them?" Qiu Qiyun lowered his head. "His dad is really scary. I don't have a dad either. You definitely can't beat him." Before I could say anything, Wang Era actually showed up with his father. That fierce appearance scared Qiu Qiyun into hiding at the door, but he didn't expect that they weren't there to settle accounts. "Dr. Li, I'm truly sorry. The child doesn't know better. You brat. Hurry up and apologize to Yunzi." Wang Era, who had seemed so imposing in the afternoon, now hung his head low, forced to apologize to Qiu Qiyun. It was clear he had been reprimanded at home. I didn't accept the fruits they offered as an apology. After they left, Qiu Qiyun came out from where he had been hiding. His eyes shone as he looked at me. "Aunt Fong, why is Wang Era's father afraid of you?" Qiu Yin tapped him on the head. "That's not fear. It's respect. Last month, Wang Era's mother fell seriously ill. It was your Aunt Fong who saved her." I crossed my arms and stared at him. "Is it important whether there's a father or not?" Qiu Qiyun shook his head. "It doesn't matter. Aunt Fong is better than Dad." His eyes were filled with admiration. Qiu Qiyun grew up to be 8 years old without any major problems. Qiu Yun's pastry shop has expanded in size. I've also been promoted to director, but I didn't expect that just 1 month after starting elementary school. The school called my parents. While taking care of the store, Qiu Yun received a call from her teacher. "Huh, you made that girl cry. Okay, teacher, I'll be there right away." She took off her sleeve and was about to leave, but I held her back. I took several deep breaths before I could speak calmly. "You're in the store, right? I'll go there." Elementary school ends early. When I got there were a lot of people, all parents coming to pick up their children. When the teacher saw it was me, his usually stern expression softened a bit. Probably not wanting to offend me, they tried to downplay the matter. "It's Dr. Li. Actually, there wasn't much to report today. It was just that Xiao Qian pulled Xiao Chun by her ponytail, and the two started fighting. Xiao Chun is a girl after all. How could she possibly beat him up? She got her lips slightly injured in the fight." The little girl's mother was crouched down, wiping her daughter's face. Her eyes were filled with tenderness, but she also said with a bitter smile, "It's okay. Children don't understand." Qiu Qian had originally been too scared to come out of his hiding place by the door, but now, as soon as he saw me, he walked out with a proud demeanor, sticking his head up high. He even made faces at that girl. "LOL. My Aunt Fong is here now. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Tomorrow, I'll use scissors to cut off all your braids." The little girl was so angry that tears streamed down her face. Qiu Qian ran behind me, acting all smug. I reached out to him. Qiu Qian took my hand without any suspicion, but I pulled him towards me, grabbed the willow stick I had prepared, and whipped it hard across his buttocks. "Bullying girls. I'll make you stop bullying girls." Qiu Qian tried to run away, but I held him tightly, forcing him to cry out in pain. The harder he cried, the harder I hit him. The onlookers were all shocked. In the end, I gasped for breath as I pushed him in front of the little girl. "Apologize." Qiu Qian choked up. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pulled your ponytail or hit you." "Speak up." "Sorry." "Wow." Qiu Qian cried all the way back. Upon returning, he threw himself into Qiu Yun's arms. "Mom, Aunt Fong hit me." After listening to the whole story, Qiu Yun stood up silently. She pulled Qiu Qian into the room and beat him again. Qiu Qian was so angry that he went into the room and cried. During dinner, Qiu Yun and I ate by ourselves, completely ignoring Qiu Qian. He was too hungry to bear it anymore. He came out on his own and stood by the dining table, muttering to himself, "Mom, I'm sorry. I won't do it again." Qiu Yun lifted her chin at me. "I promise your Aunt Fong." "Aunt Fong. I was wrong. I'll never hit girls again." I stared at him coldly. An 80-year-old child has delicate features, but it's still possible to faintly see the resemblance to my worthless father. Those cruel and violent scenes flashed before my eyes. And I quickly closed them. Death is extremely painful. I'll never be able to forget it. After a long while, I managed to speak. What I'm saying now, you must remember forever. Don't bully women. Don't look down on women. A man who cries isn't a weakling. It's those who use their physical advantages to commit violence who are the real weaklings. I gave him a complicated look, then turned to go to the kitchen to serve him food. Out of the corner of his eye, Xiao Qian tugged at Xiao Yun's clothes. Mom. Aunt Fang's look just now was so scary. Did I do something to upset her? It seemed like she wanted to hit me. Since then, Xiao Qiyun has been a little afraid of me. Fortunately, he never caused any trouble again. Near the end of her elementary school years at Xiao Qiyun School, Xiao Yun met a man. The man's name was Chen Ji. He ran a noodle shop across from the pastry shop. He wasn't particularly good-looking, but he was honest and kind-hearted. He always helped Xiao Yun with little things. After a year of getting to know each other, Chen Jixiang confessed his feelings to Xiao Yun. However, Xiao Yun refused his proposal. She said, "Forget it. I've been alone for so long now. I'm used to it." But I saw it all with my own eyes. She would secretly watch Chen Ji smile at him, offer help during her free time, and even leave him a bowl of mung bean soup on hot days. On the night she refused Chen Ji, Xiao Yun sat in the yard. I just got off work in the evening. When I got home and saw her staring blankly at the sky, I sat down next to her. "I've already checked him out for you. He's a good person. If you like him, then accept his proposal. Why refuse?" Xiao Yun sighed. "I'm afraid Qiyun won't be able to accept it. Suddenly having someone appear as his father, will he be able to get used to it? He's not used to it." "So what?" Xiao Yun was stunned. I said seriously, "Would you treat him badly just because you're in a relationship with him?" "Of course not. Isn't that enough? No matter when. Remember that you're first and foremost yourself, and only secondly a mother. Life is short, why worry so much about others? To live happily, one must be a little selfish." Xiao Yun sat in the yard all night. The next day, when I went out, I saw her packing breakfast. When our eyes met, she just smiled shyly. Xiao Yun didn't hide the fact that she was with Chen Ji. When Xiao Qiyun found out, he was very upset and didn't speak to Xiao Yun for several days. Xiao Yun, who already lacked confidence, began to show signs of wanting to back down. That day, before lunch, I brought up their marriage. Xiao Yun smiled bitterly and said, "Let's wait a little longer." She went to the room to call Xiao Qiyun for dinner. After a while, she rushed out and said, "The child is missing." Xiao Qiyun somehow got his New Year's money and a few change of clothes, then ran away on his own. Xiao Yun was extremely anxious. And Chen Shi also came to help in the search. I asked for leave from the hospital. Xiao Yun and I went separate ways. She searched around in the county, while I went to the bus station. When I arrived, the station was completely empty. There wasn't a soul inside. I scratched my head and was about to turn away when a faint voice came from the corner. "Aunt Fang." Xiao Qian sat in the corner with his legs crossed, looking extremely upset. On the way back, I found out that he hadn't had time to buy a ticket, and his money had been stolen. Xiao Qian silently followed behind me, then suddenly stopped in his tracks. "Aunt Fang, they say Mom found me a fake father. I have you too, so I don't need a fake father." I turned to look at him. "What do you mean finding someone for you? Your mother got married for her own reasons. What does it have to do with you? If you don't want to call him dad, then don't. If you don't want to be around him, then don't. No one will force you to do anything. Similarly, you shouldn't force your mother either." Xiao Qiyun. "But after they got married, Mom wouldn't love me anymore." "Why do you say that?" I stared at him coldly. "Your mother raised you all by herself, giving you everything the best she could. She always considered your feelings first, afraid that you might suffer in any way. How can you think she doesn't love you? As for you, have you ever supported her once? Giving is mutual. Have you ever thought about her needs? That night, the moon was very bright. Qiu Qiyun squatted on the ground, crying uncontrollably. When Qiu Qiyun was in the first year of junior high school, Qiu Yin married Qinji. Qiu Yin said she was remarrying and didn't want to make the wedding a topic of conversation for everyone. Qinji simply smiled naively and said, "That won't do. I'm happy. I want everyone to know that I've married you. I want to swear in front of everyone that I'll never let you down in this lifetime." Qiu Yin cried. The night before the wedding, she sat by my bed, lost in thought. After marrying Song Xiao, I thought that's all there would be to my life. Taking care of the household every day. If I had a son, things might be a little better, and I could rely on him in the future. But now, I have my own business. People call me Boss Qiu. My son is very understanding, and I've met someone else. It all feels like a dream. I looked at her profile and smiled slightly. Congratulations, Xiaofang. Don't you plan to find someone to live with? I lay in bed, resting my hands behind my head. I have no intention of doing that. I don't trust men at all. They've hurt me too much. I trust not a single man. Qiu Yun was taken aback. When did you start dating? No. Are you hiding something from me? Tell me. Really, there isn't any. The next day, Qiu Yun finished her makeup and waited for the groom to come pick her up. I never expected that Song Xiao, that scumbag, would come looking for me at a time like this. He was dressed in tattered clothes, with a beard that hadn't been shaved. His eyes were bloodshot, clearly indicating that he had just woken up from a hangover. I have no idea how he found out where we lived. When all the guests arrived, he started banging frantically on the courtyard gate and wailing pitifully. "Everyone, come and see this vicious woman, Qiu Yun. After marrying me, she hooked up with men everywhere. She also took my son away for over a decade, preventing me from seeing him. Now, she wants to find a stepfather for my son. What a heartless woman." Qiu Yun came out in her wedding dress, so angry that her eyes turned red. We moved once. The neighbors and locals had no idea about what happened between Qiu Yun and Song Xiao in the past. Now that he's said this, there's a lot of discussion everywhere. I picked up the shovel in the corner, weighed it in my hand, then headed toward Song Xiao. "Come. I need to talk to you. It's you again, you wretched woman. You're the one who ruined me." Song Xiao casually picked up a stone from the ground and raised it. I was thinking about where to hit when everyone exclaimed, "Qi Yun." I turned my head and saw Qiu Qian rushing out, holding a kitchen knife and with tears in his eyes. He's not even 12 years old yet. He barely reaches my shoulders. Now he stands in my way, shouting at Song Xiao, "How dare you hit Aunt Fang? How dare you insult my mother again?" The air was quiet for a moment. Song Xiao immediately threw the stone aside and lay on the ground, acting like a troublemaker. Son wants to hit his father. Is there any justice in the world? Qiu Qi's shoulders trembled with luck. I don't have a father like you. I only have two mothers. Fortunately, before things escalated, Qinji arrived in time. His friend, who was a police officer, immediately sent people to take Song Xiao away. I tapped Qiu Qian on the shoulder and realized he was still trembling with fear. "Aunt Fang. Am I doing the right thing?" I rubbed his head. "Not bad." Qiu Qian wasn't used to calling Qinji dad. Qinji didn't insist either. "Just call me Uncle Chen. That's fine." He began to take on the task of driving Qiu Qian to and from school. Sometimes, when the child got into arguments with other boys at school, it was he who stepped in to resolve the situation. Gradually, Qiu Qian ended up talking to Qinji more than he talked to me. True, he's always been afraid of me since he was a child. He never really talked to me much anyway. In Qiu Qian's sophomore year of high school, I was promoted to section chief again. Work is getting busier and busier. One day, while I was working overtime at the hospital, a colleague from the surgery department rushed over and said, "Dr. Chen, isn't Qiu Qian your godson?" I was taken aback. "Yeah, what's wrong?" "He got into a fight with his classmates. They're dealing with his injuries right now." I rushed over in a hurry and saw 4 or 5 boys, all with paint on their faces. Xiao Qiyun is even taller than me. He's sitting there in silence right now. I sized him up from head to toe. Are you trying to stir up trouble? No. Did you do something bad? No. Hurry up and take care of your wound. Don't let your mom worry when you get back. Just as I finished speaking, someone ran up to me from behind and said hurriedly, Auntie, please don't scold him. He fought with those people to help me. I found it interesting. When I looked up, just that one glance was enough to leave me stunned on the spot. The girl, around 17 or 18 years old, had a worried expression on her delicate face. But I remember how she held me in her arms to lull me to sleep as a child, and how she protected me from domestic violence. I never expected to see my mother here. Jolie hurriedly explained that she had just transferred to the school. Because she wore long braids, the boys in her class kept pulling her hair. Today, one of them even tried to cut her hair with scissors. Xiao Qian couldn't stand by and do nothing, so he argued with those boys on her behalf. I forced down the horror in my heart and said, "It's okay. The auntie won't scold him. Go home now." Xiao Qian likes Xiaoli. He started leaving home half an hour earlier every morning, just to take a detour to Jolie's house and wait for her to go to school together. He learned how to make pastries from Xiao Yun, with a blush on his face. He wrote Xiaoli's name on the pastries. I watched the wheels of fate turn, just as they did in my past life. I have no idea whether things will unfold in the same way again. A few days later, a teacher from the school called me and said that Xiao Qian had skipped class again. He'd skipped class several times already this semester, and today he hadn't shown up to school at all during the afternoon. In the evening, when Xiao Qian came back, I waited for him at the doorstep. As soon as he saw me, he knew I knew everything. He lowered his head and said, "Aunt Fong, I really can't continue learning anymore." I didn't say anything, just told him to go to bed early today. Early the next morning, before daybreak, I woke up Xiao Qian and handed him his packed luggage. "Let's go. Since you can't continue your studies, you need to find a job that allows you to support yourself. You can't keep sucking money from your mother, and I won't be helping you forever." Xiao Qian remained silent for a while, then picked up his luggage and went to the station with me. I used my connections to get him hired at the construction site. After a week of working under the scorching sun, one night, Xiao Qian arrived at his doorstep, carrying his luggage and drenched in sweat. "I want to keep going to school. I don't want to sit with them at the door every night, talking about vulgar things. I don't want to live a life where everything is predictable." It wasn't until a few days later that I found out that the reason Xiao Qian didn't want to go to school was Xiaoli. Jolie's family was very poor. Her younger brother was in the first year of high SEH and needed tuition fees urgently. As a result, Jolie wasn't allowed to continue her schooling. Xiao Qian said he would go out to work with her, but after I took her out on a trip, he became determined to continue his studies and even wanted to help Xiaoli get an education as well. There's no other way. He has to come to me for a loan. Aunt Fong. She's really smart and eager to go to school more than I am. I want to help pay for her senior high school tuition. Could you lend me the money? I'll definitely pay you back." I lazily lifted my eyelids. "No." Xiao Qian's shoulders slumped immediately. I took a piece of paper out of the drawer. "Words alone aren't enough. Write down the IOU and sign it." Xiao Qian was momentarily stunned, but his eyes immediately lit up. "Thank you, Aunt Fong." I only gave him the tuition fees for his final year of high school. I watched as he held it like a precious treasure and ran out of the house with it in his arms. Before school started, I picked a time to visit Jolie's house. A girl who should have been preparing for school was feeding pigs, wearing clothes full of patches. Meanwhile, her younger brother, who was about to start freshman year of high school, was sleeping in the yard, repeatedly saying that they had no money. His parents fanned him with a fan while one of them squatted by the door smoking. These people are my grandparents, who favored sons over daughters, and my uncle, who's like a vampire. It can be said that half of my mother's misfortunes in her past life were caused by them. On behalf of the hospital, I've done blood donation promotion here before. They know me as well. When they saw me at the entrance, Aunt Xiao came over to greet me. "Oh, Dr. Li, what brings you here?" I smiled. "Our hospital has a scholarship support program. I heard your family needs it, so I came to ask." Xiao's parents' eyes immediately lit up. Yes. Our two children can't even afford to go to school." Jolie also stopped what she was doing. Her hopes reignited. "I deliberately make things difficult. But our support is conditional. It's only available to families with one child. Alas. It's a pity you have two children. If you had only one son, he could have received university grants, which would be a significant amount of money. You don't know how much support is available for families with one child these days." Xiao's parents exchanged a glance. They smiled and told me to wait, then went inside to discuss things for half an hour. When they came out, they said to me, "Jolie's household registration can be transferred to her uncle. Our family has only one son, so we're essentially a one-child family, right?" Jolie was shocked. Mom Xiao turned around and snapped. "What do you mean? It's just a matter of transferring your household registration. After all, you'll still be our daughter, won't you? Besides, your uncle has always loved you. He doesn't have any children of his own. There are many advantages to being adopted by him." Jolie had tears in her eyes as she ran out crying. I smiled. "If that's the case, then your family qualifies for this support." What she didn't know was that her son, whom she treated with such care, as if he might break if touched or melt if held in her mouth, couldn't continue his studies in high school and dropped out early, not to mention attending university. I didn't even get a high school diploma. After Jolie was adopted by another family, she no longer had any obligation to support her biological parents. No matter how she lives from now on, the Xiao family has no right to force her back through blood ties. In my memory, Jolie's uncle, who was also my great-uncle, was the only person who was kind to us. I can't help her completely break away from her original family, but at least legally, I can give her a way out. After leaving, I saw Jolene looking unhappy at the bridge. She sat by the river, crying with her head bowed. I went over and sat next to her. "Am I to blame for telling your parents those things?" Xiao Li shook her head. "Qiyun lent me the money for tuition. He told me that you were the one who gave it." "Thank you, Aunt Fang." I said nothing. As the sun set, I saw Qiyun on the other side of the bridge, looking anxious as he called out Xiao Li's name. Jolie's eyes lit up. She was about to call out to him, but I stopped her. "Do you like him?" Jolie's face turned red suddenly, caught off guard. My expression was somewhat complicated. "I watched him grow up, but I'm still not sure if he's a good kid." Xiao Li wondered. "Qiyun is really great. He's brave, fair-minded, and always helps his classmates. He never bullies girls. He's also polite. He's much better than those annoying boys in the class." I looked at her deeply. "Don't believe what a man says. Everyone can say nice things. You need to see what he actually does." True feelings are revealed in the little details. It's inevitable to fall in love with someone, but I hope that no matter what, you'll always put yourself first. If one day you start to wonder whether there's any point in continuing to live like this, then don't hesitate, leave immediately. Jolie seemed to understand, but not entirely. "Oh, okay." I stood up, dusted myself off, and before turning to leave, I couldn't help but look back and say, "I really don't trust that guy. Why don't you find someone else to like?" Jolie was completely confused. The senior year of high school flew by in a blink. Qiyun was admitted to a regular undergraduate program, while Xiao Li performed better and was admitted to a prestigious university. Qiyun was overjoyed and got busy preparing for the banquet, and I secretly prepared the tuition fees for college for Jolie, planning to give them to her as a voluntary scholarship from the community. In the end, I couldn't help but try to brainwash her. "Really? You won't even consider it?" You did better than him. Qiu Qiyun isn't good enough for you. Jolie blushed. But I think he's better than anyone else. Oh my god. Why is my mom so obsessed with love? In her past life. In order to get the dowry, Xiao Li's family married her off to Song Qian, who had dropped out of school when she was still in her 10th grade. This was the beginning of a tragedy. If they lived another life, they would still be together. It's just that no one is the same person they used to be. On the day of the graduation banquet, the courtyard was filled with the sound of gongs and drums. I sat in the study, writing down the details of that photocopied college entrance exam paper. I missed 18 years worth of opportunities. The exams I never took. The papers I never wrote in my past life. Those are regrets that will stay with me for a lifetime. The moment I put down the pen, my soul felt as though it were being torn apart in pain. I only managed to catch a glimpse of the fireworks outside the window before everything went black and I lost consciousness. Drip, drip, drip. Awake. Bed 31 is awake. I slowly opened my eyes and saw nothing but pure white before me. A pair of unfamiliar middle-aged couples stood in front of my bed, tears streaming down their faces. Pepe, you're awake. I'm awake, but I'm not me anymore. I've entered a strange body, along with a set of strange memories. My name is Li Pepe. I'm cheerful and come from a happy family, but at the age of 15, he was in a car accident and became a vegetative state. He spent 3 years in the hospital. I slowly realized that what the voice had said at the beginning, though the hard work again, did not refer to becoming Li Fang, but rather Li Pepe. Were those years I spent as Li Fang merely a test? After waking up, I tried hard to adjust to my memories and my new body. On the day of discharge, I waited in the lobby for my parents to complete the paperwork. 2 familiar figures walked right past me. I just stood there, frozen in place. Those are the 2 people I know best. Jolie and Qiu Qiyun. No, I don't even know whether his name is Qiu Qiyun or Song Qiyun. They looked to be in their 40s. For some reason, I followed them. I saw them enter a hospital room, and from inside came sounds of someone acting coquettishly. Dad. Mom. Why did you take so long to get here? A name was written beside the hospital bed. Qiu Pepe. Jolie laughed. It's all your dad's fault. He insisted on buying you the newly released Idol posters, and we had to wait in line for ages. Qiu Qiyun mysteriously took out a poster from behind him. Good daughter. Look what Daddy has brought for you. Aw, Dad is so nice. Stop jumping around already. Get discharged from the hospital early today, so you can go celebrate your grandmother's birthday tomorrow. That girl, at 18 years old, had a face I had never seen before. A bit similar to me. There's also a big difference between them. She's sunny, cheerful, confident, and beautiful. So that's how it is. Even if it's the same 2 people, the children they bear will not be the same. Whether they're in love or not. I stared blankly at the scene, as if seeing a happiness I had never experienced before. Pepe. A gentle female voice came from behind me. The woman gently took my hand. Come on. Let's go home. I held it tightly and nodded. Okay. Let's go home. No. I've found my own happiness too.